But let's go overseas again now. The number of US soldiers killed in Iraq is known precisely. As of Monday, according to the Defence Department, it's 3,235. But while no one doubts that many more Iraqis have died in the conflict, when the medical journal The Lancet published a study last year which put the Iraqi death toll at 650,000, it was criticised by the governments of the UK, the United States and Australia as exaggerated. Today, though, documents have revealed that while their government was criticising it, senior British government advisers judged the study to be sound. And that revelation has reignited the controversy over the research and the human cost of the war. Barbara Miller has compiled this report.
I don't consider it a credible report.
I don't believe that John Hopkins research, I don't.
Neither does General Casey, and neither do Iraqi officials.
It's not plausible, it's not based on anything other than a house-to-house survey. I think that's absolutely precarious.
I stand by the figure a lot of innocent people have lost their life. 600,000 or whatever they guessed at is just, it's not credible.
It is an unbelievably large number.
Agreement between George W. Bush and John Howard that the figure published in The Lancet of more than 650,000 Iraqi deaths as a result of the war was far too high. Tony Blair also criticised the study, his spokesman saying at the time that the figure was not anywhere near accurate. But in the UK, documents seen by the BBC World Service indicate government experts don't agree with the outright dismissal. The chief scientific advisor at the Ministry of Defence describes the study's methods, house-to-house interviews across almost 50 locations, as close to best practice, and the design as robust. The study author, Professor Gilbert Burnham from the Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, says that news doesn't surprise him.
We never had any doubt that the study would stand the test of time. It was designed with a lot of input from people who are leaders in their field, and that it was carried out in as robust a manner as we could under the circumstances. So I was always certain that in the end the materials and the results would stand up to very close scrutiny.
Would you like to see public officials, for example, in the United Kingdom now coming out and revising their judgment of the study?
That would be gratifying from our side, but what I think we would like better than anything is for some other competent body to undertake a similar study to see if their figures would validate what we turned up.
Michael O'Hanlon at the Brookings Institution in Washington still questions the Lancet study, saying he thinks cultural differences may have had an impact on the result.
Iraqis have an extraordinarily broad definition of family and of relatives. I think there's a danger that many people who only are distantly related to a given household, or maybe spent a night in that household in the last 2 or 3 months or what have you, were considered to be essentially part of the nuclear family by the person responding to the survey. So you had a much broader population pool that people were asking about or contemplating when they responded to the question, has a family member been killed?
Michael O'Hanlon concedes that he's only speculating about the reason why the Lancet figure may be so high, and it's that sense that the figure simply is too big to be true that continues to fuel criticism of the study. Responding to the reports that government advisers judged the study to be robust, the British government has issued a statement saying there's still considerable debate amongst the scientific community over the accuracy of the figures. But Richard Horton, the Lancet's editor, says governments must now take account of the findings.
What we mustn't do is to be paralysed by this debate. It's an incredible number, but we now have several lines of evidence that confirm the validity of these findings. So the onus, I'm afraid, is on the US and the UK governments to really get to grips with the impact of this war on civilians.
That's Richard Horton, the editor of The Lancet, ending that report by Barbara Miller.